Namaskar. Thank you for watching my previous video clip on the Chauset Yogini Temple, Hirapur, Orissa, India. I express my sincere gratitude to all the viewers and subscribers of my YouTube channel across the globe for your overwhelming comments and feedback, which have inspired me to make a more informative video on this subject. And pranam to all my teachers in the spiritual space who have guided me at the various stages of my life. That includes my introduction to the world of the yoginis. I would like to thank my friends Shohini Shannal and Tanmay Chatterjee for their last-minute inputs while making this video. I also thank the local priests of the Chauset Yogini Temple who had performed puja for us when we went there in March 2021. In the first part of the documentary on the Chauset Yogini Temple, I had mentioned about the history behind its construction, the concept of yoginis, their association with Tantra, the Dwarpalas, Kal and Bikal Bhairavs, 4 Rudra Bhairavs, and Martand Bhairav, who used to be housed in the center of the Chandi Mandap or the inner sanctum, and also the Pushkarini or Deepdandi. The figurines of Martand Bhairav and Sarvamangala, the 61st yogini, were removed long ago. I had also talked about Mahamaya, Uma, Chamunda and Navakatyayanis. In the second part of the video on the temple, I'll talk about 3 yoginis, Saraswati, Birupa and Kaumari. In the Indian mythology, Saraswati is portrayed as a white-skinned goddess, symbolizing purity, knowledge, wisdom and arts. She, as a consort, helps the guardian of the cosmos, Brahma, to restore harmony with knowledge and wisdom whenever there is a cosmic chaos. That is how Dharma was supposed to have been established, ensuring stability and growth in the society. To sustain the cosmos, Brahma also needed the help of Lakshmi, the goddess of wealth, prosperity, beauty and grace, the Indian counterpart of the Greek Aphrodite and the Roman Venus. In Indian mythology, the three Devi goddesses, Saraswati, Lakshmi and Parvati, are the consorts of the three Murti gods, Brahma, Vishnu and Shiva. The Indian Saraswati is born out of Brahma's mouth, just like the way Minerva emerged out of the forehead of the Roman god Jupiter and Athena had sprung out of god Zeus's skull. Another legend mentions that Jupiter or Zeus had swallowed Metis, the goddess of counsel, while she was pregnant with Roman Minerva or Greek Athena, who had then sprung out of the god's skull. It is believed that the 4 Vedas were born out of Saraswati, and she dispels the darkness of ignorance by blessing us with the radiance of knowledge and wisdom. Her Vahans or vehicles, swan represents purity and peacock represents arts. She is also known by the name of Vagdevi, the goddess of speech and sound, and Shatarupa because of her 100 beautiful manifestations. Saraswati is worshipped on the day of Vasant Panchami and her color is yellow. The idol is to be placed on a white altar cloth and she is offered the reddish-orange palash and yellow marigold flowers. So while offering flowers, keep that in mind that you have yellow, white, blue, red and green colored flowers with you. Her tantric manifestation is the emerald green colored 4-armed Matungi or Raja Matungi, who plays Veena, the musical instrument, and she is the goddess of speech, music, knowledge and arts. Matungi is also considered as a repository of Chauset Kalas. Her Vahan is the parrot and she is Mantrini, the deity of the sacred mantras or chants. She dwells in the throat chakra and she is related to the acquisition of supreme knowledge, supernatural powers, magic and Indrajal, mastery over arts, gaining victory over enemies and also to remove the malefic effects of sun or Surya dosha. Both Saraswati and Matungi are associated with the Nada, which flows through the Nadi channels in the body, through which the life force flows. Saraswati represents the orthodox knowledge of the Brahmins, and Matungi, who is also known as Uchishta Chandalini, is associated with forests and tribes. She is also associated with Vinayaki, the elephant-headed goddess of knowledge and obstacle removal. Probably she is a shapeshifter. Matungi is worshipped on the 3rd day of the Shukla Paksha Tithi in the month of Vaisak in the morning or in the midnight. She should be offered blue colored flowers and the idol is to be placed on a turquoise blue altar cloth. As we take a closer look at the Yogini numbers 22, 23 and 30 in the Chaucer Yogini temple Hirapur, we get reminded of the Indian goddess Saraswati, probably because of their various attributes. But some researchers consider the 22nd, 23rd and the 30th Yoginis as Saraswati, Birupa and Kaumari respectively. Saraswati can be considered as Indian counterpart of the Greek Athena, the goddess of warfare, art and crafts, the Roman Minerva, the goddess of music, poetry, medicine, wisdom, commerce, weaving and crafts, and the Egyptian Seshet, the goddess of wisdom, music and speech, the Celtic Bridget, the goddess of hearth, medicine, arts and wisdom, the Tibetan Nil Saraswati, the Buddhist Vajra Saraswati or Vajrana Saraswati, Vajra Sarada and Maha Saraswati, and the Japanese Benzaithan, the goddess of wisdom, fertility and abundance. In India, Vagdevi is another name of Saraswati. Nil Saraswati is the manifestation of Tibetan Tara, who is associated with speech, culture and learning. In the Tibetan tradition, Nil Saraswati is also known as Yang Sheng Mo. She is the goddess for performing arts, especially music. In her musical movement and demeanor, Nil Saraswati is called Piwa Karpo. Her Chinese Buddhist name is Miao Yin Mu. The 22nd Yogini figurine, depicted as a four-armed deity, gracefully stands on a serpent with a stringed instrument stretching from left shoulder to the right thigh. She is seen twisting her moustache with her left upper hand. Her braid of hair looks like a rising flame. Here we also find association of the Indian Saraswati with the Egyptian Seshet, who also has a musical instrument in her hands. Snake is at times linked with the Roman Minerva and the Celtic Bridget, and is well associated with the Japanese Benzaithan, who is at times depicted with a white snake headdress. Snakes, dragons and foxes are strongly linked with this Japanese goddess Benzaithan. Both the deities, Athena and Minerva, are seen with olive trees along with them. The 23rd Yogini figurine, depicted as a two-armed form with braid of hair on her head. She is without any vahan or vehicle, but has lines of flowing water beneath her feet. Some call her the river goddess Birupa and some refer to her as Saraswati. Birupa is worshipped on Fridays or full moon. In Vedas, we do see the reference of Saraswati as a river with strong healing properties. The Japanese Benzaithan is also associated with the water, thunder and lightning. The benign, non-tantric figurine seems to be a graceful and yet a powerful form, and she seems to be an epitome of purity, standing in the Divibhanga pose on the rippling waters or waves of a flowing river. To me, she seems to strike a balance with her right foot firmly placed on the solid pedestal and her left foot on the carved ripples created by the flowing water. It is similar to the white-robed angel image that we see in the Temperance card in the Rider-Waite deck of tarot. The 30th Yogini figurine, Kaumari, stands on a peacock-like bird as depicted in the Matsya Purana. The Indian Saraswati is associated with both swan and peacock, while the owl is associated with both Greek Athena and Roman Minerva. In Indian mythology, Kaumari is one of the Saptamatrikas and is referred to as the Shakti of Skanda or Kumara or Kartikeya, who is popularly known as Murugan in South India. She is also known as the Kartikeyani, the mother of Kartikeya. According to Devi Purana, she is the daughter of the goddess Lalita and she had killed demon Bhanda's sons. Usually, Kaumari is depicted as a red-skinned goddess with 4 arms. In 2 hands, she holds a spear-like weapon called the veil and the flag, and her other 2 hands are in the form of Abhaya and Varada mudras. In other ancient texts, she has 6 faces and 12 arms. The purpose of invoking her is to get rid of bad temper. Chanting of Kaumari Gayatri protects one against natural calamities, chickenpox and other heat-related diseases. The best time to chant the mantra is on Tuesdays and Fridays apart from full moon. I was quite fascinated and tried to mentally communicate with the 3 figurines of these yoginis. The messages that came through was to traverse through the challenges of life stoically with head held high, to employ the strength of willpower and yet remain flexible till the end of the life's journey. In the 3rd part of the documentary, I will come back with more details about other yoginis. Stay tuned.